So you want to make a better connection to your insurance sales presentations. Well, so you sell insurance and you're looking for a way to build awesome rapport, whether face-to-face or over the phone, and you want some advice on how to connect better with your insurance presentations to sell more insurance. If that is you, you found the right video. Stick around. Greetings and salutations, it's Dave Duford. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I own Duford Insurance Group, where I train and recruit agents nationally to sell things like final expense, Medicare, and annuities, both face-to-face and over the phone. Please make sure you subscribe if you happen to like this video and give it the old thumbs up. So the purpose of this video is to help you understand the process of effectively and purposely building strong, awesome rapport in your insurance sales presentations. And the reason this is important is because in any sales presentation, even in 2021 when this is filmed, insurance sales presentations always come down to whether or not the person likes you and whether or not the person trusts you. So being likable, building a connection, building rapport is still absolutely vital if you want to have sustained success in this business. And what we're going to teach you today is how to establish rapport if you're confused or if you don't have anything to talk about, you wonder what to say and how to get people interested in being interested in you. We're going to give you some foolproof tips and tactics to execute to actually accomplish this. So let's get right into it. First of all, let's set the goal of what it means to have built an effective amount of rapport. And for me personally, that is building a good enough rapport. So what I don't want you thinking when we talk about selling insurance is that you have to become best friends with your prospects. I mean, being a best friend takes years, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It is a process of building a relationship that happens over the course of months or years. Whereas we don't need to be best friends with our prospects to buy from us. We just need them to like us. And establishing likability is something that happens in minutes, certainly not 15 minutes or an hour. So what I recommend you guys to do, first of all, is set a timer of 5 minutes or less to establish likability and rapport. I've reviewed tons and tons of training calls sales calls of agents of mine many times over the years. And what I have discovered is that many times if you go over 5 minutes, you're kind of getting into the realm of boredom as far as a prospect goes. Yeah, they like you. Yeah, they're talking to you, but they're just kind of ready to get to business, okay? So you should be able to establish rapport in 5 minutes or less if you follow the tactics we're going to use. And on a grander scale, I think it's important to understand too, that this is about developing good enough rapport. You don't need to be best friends with your prospects. You just need to get them comfortable with you. You need to get them relaxed with you, open-minded, because in a state of likability, people now are more likely to listen to what you're talking about, even if they're slightly closed-minded to it. They'll be a little bit more reasonable and relaxed dealing with you, which is all we need in order to begin to sell and convince them of why they should buy their insurance product from us. So before we get to the actual questions to ask in rapport building, here's the thing, guys. This is really critical. And I know it sounds like commonplace and this isn't like some miraculous discovery, but you have to actually be interested in the people that you're talking to. If you don't have an interest in your prospects, guess what? They're not going to have an interest in you. If you aren't like excited to see them, they're not going to be excited to see you. There is a level of reciprocity here, guys, where if you show interest, people usually reciprocate and show interest in you. When you are actually interested in somebody, guess what? They feel the warm fuzzies or whatever, right? They can tell you like them, and they like that you like them, and they like you back because of it. So if you're talking to your prospects and you're not really engaged and actively engaging and being attentive to what they're saying, they can tell. They may not be, psychology majors, but they can tell when somebody has an interest in you or not. So make it obvious to them when you're talking to them that you actually, think they're cool. Like they actually are interesting people. And then they'll say and think the same thing about you. So what do you actually say in order to get people interested in you? Let's go over a couple of questions that will really do a good job of getting interest from the prospect in you. And just to say as a side note, the questions that you ask to elicit interest, to elicit rapport, are what we call open-ended questions. Now, what is an open-ended question? It is a question you can't answer with a yes or a no. It is a question that the prospect must provide a story, an experience, and typically with a story comes emotion. And when you share emotions, when you're vulnerable, when you share something about yourself personal, and you're not judgy towards them, and you find interest in it, guess what? That builds rapport. So the questions you're going to hear today are all open-ended. They solicit or elicit stories and emotion, which is the key to unlocking a connection and rapport. So the first question, of course, is how long have you lived here? And what do you think about living here? Now, it's a simple question to ask, but many people have lived in an area a long time, or maybe they moved from one area to another. And when you ask them what they think about the place, they're going to have all sorts of opinions. Maybe it's different from how it used to be back in the day, or, I love it out here instead of living out there. It was crazy out here and it's great here. But then you get to unravel the story of why they stayed in their town their whole life, or why they moved from one town to another. And it just gives and shares a sense of life experience that is nice to talk about and kind of reflects on the longevity of their life and the reasons they did whatever they did to live where they are currently. Another question I like to ask is, are you working or are you retired? And if they say they're retired, I always ask it, so what's it like to be retired? Is it all it's cracked up to be? So this question usually gets them to laugh and then tells you the truth about what it's like to be retired. And it's always kind of interesting because in American society, we kind of vie for retirement when we can just put our feet up, not work, travel, do all these wonderful things in our golden years, right? And now you've talked to people, if you happen to talk to older people, and you get to see what it's actually like. And many times the experience of being retirement is not anything like it was sold to be. A lot of people are unhappy in retirement, or they are happy because they get to travel and they see grandkids or whatever, right? But you get a little story behind it. Now, of course, if you're dealing with somebody that clearly isn't of retirement age and you ask them, are they working? Then you follow up with, well, hey, what do you do? What do you think about it? Wow, that's really interesting. What do you do on your job? A lot of people love to talk about the work that they do. Some people who don't like their job, they'll tell you that too. But either way, you get some experience about what it is they do for a living, why they do it, and again, get to learn a slice of their life that usually many times people, the work they do, or if they're retired and enjoy it, they'll like sharing it with you. And therefore, again, like you for listening to it. So, of course, another great rapport building question is ask about kids or grandkids if you've got grandparents, and ask them about their kids. What do they do? What do they do for fun? What's it like being a parent? What's it like being a mom or a dad? What's it like being a grandparent? You're likely to get a ton of feedback. Do they love it? Do they hate it? Maybe you see that more with grandkids and parents, but sometimes you just never know. But either way, you're going to get some kind of reaction, an emotional reaction, right? And anyways, especially if we're selling insurance products like life insurance, it's all about the kids. It's all about the people we love in our life, right? And so when you start talking like this, it usually brings up emotion. It usually connects what we're trying to sell them with what's happening in their life. And most people love talking about their family and they love them a lot. So it's a great topic to get into. Last but not least, always ask about hobbies. What do you like doing for fun? You're going to get all sorts of responses and you're going to get a lot of positive stuff. And again, we're talking about positive stuff that people enjoy in their life. So that puts them in a good mood, right? And you're interested in it, they're interested in you, back and forth, all that good stuff. So believe it or not, this whole process is just going to take 5 minutes. You know, again, we're just kind of getting a little bit of depth here. We're not trying to psychoanalyze our clients and spend a whole 60-minute counseling session with them. We're just trying to get a slice of their life and to show that we're interested in them, okay? So remember, to kind of conclude this whole rapport building talk, it all comes down to how you interact with the client, showing interest in them first, and asking good, open-ended questions to facilitate their life experience so that ultimately, after 5 minutes or less, they kind of like you. You're a nice guy. And when you got them in that position, you're that much closer to a sale. So I hope this helps you unearth sometimes the confusing and nebulous process of building rapport. It is something, even if you're a natural introvert like yours truly, you can develop. It is something that's teachable, it's learnable. And if you follow these steps and execute them with excitement and enthusiasm, you'll be shocked at how many people actually end up liking you in return. My name is David Duford, owner of Duford Insurance Group. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to learn more about my agency, click the links above or below. It's going to take you to my website where you'll learn more about how my agency works. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.